Right now on RTV6, unrelenting rain and a Storm Team 6 alert day as we track problems on the roads already.
Live team coverage to keep you on top of the flooding and what's next in your wet forecast.
We came home to about 5 inches of water flooding the basement.
It's a nightmare no homeowner wants to go through, so RTV6 is bringing you these ways to save yourself from flooding as we eye more incoming rain.
Inches and inches of rainfall can make for messy times on the roads. How state crews do everything they can to prepare for the flooding.
13, 14, 15 years old and finding themselves the victims of gunfire. Some of their lives ended for good. The grassroots group working to save kids from violence.
And it's been credited with helping connect several troublesome crimes. Tonight, you'll see how this lab is working to make sure solving cases is not a shot in the dark.
This is RTV6 News at 5, working for you.
Thanks for joining us here at 5 o'clock. I'm Mark Mullins.
And I'm Amanda Starantino. The heavy rain out there is causing flooding and leading to crashes on the roadways. So we want to get you a real-time look out there from the RTV6 Live Drive.
This afternoon, much of the interstate at the heart of the city was stuck at a standstill due to crashes during the rain. A few of the crashes near the north and south splits downtown had things pretty messy.
Let's get right over to Storm Team 6 Chief Meteorologist Kevin Gregory to see how things are looking. Kevin.
And Amanda and Mark, the rain started last night. It continues now. This is our running rainfall report. I don't say total because I think we'll add another 2 inches, maybe more. All right, let's talk about what's happening through the evening hours. As far as our central Indiana rainfall, 2 inches in some spots. That means rising creeks and rivers. The flooding is going to continue into early next week in spots. We'll have more on that as the half hour unfolds, but this is a common scene in many neighborhoods for small streams and creeks. Additional rainfall, 2 to maybe 3 inches. We won't be done with this for another 24 hours. The wind will play a bigger role during the day tomorrow, gusting over 40, and the flood warnings are expanding. Right now, they're river flood warnings. As you can see, northern half of the state, not so much rain now. I think this will shift to the north. Morgan County and Johnson County, where the heaviest rainfall is, from Indy down to Greenwood, Franklin, that'll go down between Columbus and Nashville, and it's lifting northeast. Temperatures in the 50s. That doesn't change this evening. Between 7 and 11, I think the majority of the rain will lift to the north. We'll still have isolated downpours. We'll talk about Saturday and then what happens Sunday and Monday that's much needed coming up.
Rain could wreak havoc on central Indiana homes this weekend if you are not prepared.
You may not be caught off guard with the rain because we've been telling you about it, but your water prevention system might be.
RTV6's Stephanie Wade is working for you to be sure your home is ready to handle the rain.
With rain in the forecast, experts say it's critical you have your sump pump checked to make sure it's working properly. When your home floods, one of the main causes is from a failed or backed up sump pump.
The flooring was actually rippling and buckling, and a lot of our things were just floating in the water.
Not once, but twice, Tanae Wright's home has been flooded. There were major storms while she and her family were out of town, so the sump pump was working on overdrive.
Either the sump pump is old and not maintained and burns itself out, or we get enough rain so quickly that, yes, it overloads the system. And it is possible to overload that system with 4 inches of rain. It's just hopefully it'll be spread out over this weekend and not all at once.
Michaelis Corporation recommends clearing the leaves and debris from your gutters so water can drain into your downspouts. But if your home does get flooded, reach out to your insurance company. Then call a water damage restoration company immediately. Mold can start growing within just 72 hours. Working for you, Stephanie Wade, RTV6.
Now here's a closer look at how to prepare and deal with flooding. Related repairs can be expensive and time-consuming.
If you don't have flood insurance, you may have backup sewage insurance. The cap on that is $10,000. That kicks in when sewage ends up in your home because the city's infrastructure may be overwhelmed by the rainfall.
If your home is flooded and you can do the work, you may want to consider removing and bagging your own wet carpeting. Paying a company to do that could cost you in excess of $5,000. You could instead use those insurance dollars for repairs. And for those of you with flood insurance policies, just know that not everything is covered. So move valuables to a safe place as a precaution. New tonight, the start of 2020 sees a startling spike in flu-related deaths in Indiana. That number has climbed to 22 tonight. 12 people died of flu-associated deaths in the first week alone of of this year. And more surprising, the majority of these 22 people were not over the age of 65. 8 were between the ages of 25 and 49. RTV6 told you earlier this week about avoiding and preventing the flu. You can find that story right now on the RTV6 app and at theindychannel.com.
She tried to claim mental disease as her defense in the case of her murdered stepdaughter, but it looks like that is not going to work. We learned today a court has ruled that 34-year-old Amanda Carmack is competent to stand trial in the death of 10-year-old Skylee Carmack. Carmack was arrested last September after investigators say she admitted to strangling the girl in the barn behind their house, saying she was angry at Skylee. Carmack's trial is set to begin on February 3rd.
Just 10 days into the new year, in Indianapolis has already had 3 separate cases of young teens being shot. One of their lives ended by that gunfire.
RTV6's Megan Sanctorum is working for you to find out what some local organizations are doing to step in and help protect our city's young people.
This is 15-year-old Peter Lambermont. Family shared these photos with us. The young teen was shot and killed on Priscilla Avenue. He's not the only young person hit by gunfire recently. On January 2nd, a 14-year-old was shot on Chamberlain Drive. Then on the 8th, a 13-year-old was shot on Windhill Drive. Police are calling those 2 shootings accidental.
That's heartbreaking. I mean, that's shocking, and that's just, we can't continue on this path.
Reverend Malachi Walker runs Young Men Incorporated. The program helps provide at-risk teens with mentors, and it includes a summer empowerment camp as well. He says working with these teens is crucial, but he also thinks parents and lawmakers need to do more.
I'm a strong believer in the right to bear guns. I mean, I have no problem with that. But when they're in the hands of the wrong person, that's the problem right there. And our kids are getting these guns, and that should definitely be a law that is against that.
Police have not yet released a possible motive for the fatal shooting on Priscilla. The 2 accidental shootings are still under investigation. Working for you, Megan Sanctorum, RTV6.
And coming up on the news at 6, we go deeper into this story and talk and meet one group taking its concerns about youth and gun violence to lawmakers.
Local law enforcement agencies credit the Crime Gun Intelligence Center with helping investigators connect major cases. So far, the center has tested thousands of guns, leading to hundreds of arrests.
Every time a gun is shot, criminals leave behind evidence where the crime lab is piecing together.
RTV6's Rafael Sanchez takes us inside that lab.
Each box loaded with the potential to trigger an arrest and solve a crime. This, a .45 caliber with 10 rounds. This, a 9mm pistol with 17 rounds. Weapons police recover come to the Marion County Crime Lab. Through a series of forensic tests, detectives are alerted if a gun used in one crime is connected to another. In the past, that information could take weeks. Now the results come back within a few days.
Our detectives start working backwards to find out who is the trigger puller.
The lab plays a critical role as part of the Crime Gun Intelligence Center, which includes a number of agencies like the ATF, U.S. Attorney's Office, the Marion County Prosecutor's Office, and the Fishers Police Department.
Fishers Police Department recovered a gun that was used in one of our 2013 homicides. And we got that information back quicker. That's not information we have gotten back in a timely manner under the old way of doing things. This really is a game changer for the city of Indianapolis.
The work in the lab and the partnership among law enforcement have led so far to 339 arrests, connected to 254 weapons.
Their whole goal is to disrupt the shooting cycle. The quicker we can get the person or the gun off the street, we prevent the next shooting.
And that was Rafael Sanchez reporting.
Yeah, as he was working on this story, he found what is happening in Indy is now getting national attention.
And other cities have shown an interest in this effort, including police agencies in Cincinnati, Albuquerque, New Mexico, and Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Here's a breakdown of deeper details here. The crime lab tested 3,124 weapons just last year. In 2018, it was 2,796 weapons. The Crime Gun Intelligence Center has been officially up and running since 2019. You can see this full story right now and read up on other details on the RTV6 app and at theindychannel.com.
New details today and a big change on the north side. RTV6 was first to report yesterday.
We're learning Traders Point Christian Church is not only buying this old marsh at 62nd and Keystone that you see here, but it's also launching a northeast campus at Fall Creek Intermediate School in Fishers. We're also able to find out more specifics on how the church got this old marsh property in the first place.
According to county paperwork, Traders Point Church purchased the property for $7.6 million in late December. Marsh supermarkets across Indiana closed down in 2017 and the company went bankrupt, leaving buildings like this one vacant for years.
Ahead at 5:30 on the Now Indy, it can be all too tempting to reuse a gift you didn't want, when it's okay to re-gift an unwanted holiday present, and when you should never give a present to someone else.
But first, we are expecting even more rain, and the roadways can be dangerous enough as it is. What you need to do to minimize your risk as the floods become a problem.
And here's the heavy rain now along I-65 south of Indianapolis toward Columbus. That will impact Interstate 74. The next wave to the southwest. We'll talk about when we'll wrap all of this up coming up.
Happy New Year from Denny's.
Right now on RTV6 News at 5, it has been a soggy Friday, and we have been monitoring road conditions as the rain continues to fall.
Our Kelsey Anderson spoke with INDOT officials on how they prepare for a rain event like this one and what you need to do to stay safe.
INDOT officials are urging drivers to be cautious this weekend as we are expected to get more rain throughout the day, tonight and on Saturday. They say water over the roadways can be very dangerous. They'll be on call doing things like putting up high water signs and clearing drains that are clogged. Officials ask that you give them plenty of room to work for their safety and your own.
When you see high water, you never know how deep it is. Turn around, find an alternate route. And if you see our crew out there clearing a drain, depending on the area, they might have a big machine or they might be doing it by hand. Give them some space.
And I'm sure most of you are sick of hearing the phrase, turn around, don't drown. But this is why. According to FEMA, just 6 inches of water can stall out a car, 12 inches can stall out most vehicles, and 24 inches of rushing water can carry any car away. So I'm going to say it one more time for you. Turn around, don't drown if you see high water over the weekend. Working for you, Kelsey Anderson, RTV6.
Kelsey, thank you for that. And out on the roads today, you could tell it was a little bit more slippery. I caught myself hydroplaning at one point.
You got to take it slow there, yeah, and just give yourself some extra time. We are monitoring the road conditions and the forecast for you on this Storm Team 6 alert day.
Rain, rain, rain.
Yes.
We talked about it, so I just think what happens is each round of rain we have makes then the impact greater.
Right.
Because once you got total saturation, which we do, it will continue to make those creeks and rivers rise more quickly, and this is a problem for the next 24 hours. Then when the rain stops, the rivers, for example, the Wabash, will continue to rise. 38 in Chicago, but it's anything but that in central Indiana. Temperatures are all in the 50s. It feels more certainly like early fall than the middle of January. Rainfall around the metro area, many spots approaching 2 inches now. Heavier rain, near Avon. That'll move into Speedway. Downtown Indy will broaden this. The rainfall, this little cluster here from Indy down towards Shelbyville, Greensburg, Columbus, will move to the north and east and impact areas from Indy to Richmond. Then we've got another broken area of rain coming in from the southwest. We mentioned river levels. This will be somewhat of a moving target because you won't know exactly the total crest numbers and timing until we can get the rain to stop. But just to show you kind of the delayed reaction, Wabash River at Lafayette and Terre Haute won't crest right now, not predicted to until Monday. The White River in Noblesville continues to rise by another 9-10 feet, cresting on Sunday, and White River in Morgan County crests on Sunday as well. 7 to 11 tonight, ongoing pockets of heavy rain. The emphasis will then shift into the northern portion of the state. Overnight, we'll see a decent break. Then we get what we call a prefrontal line. There's a cold front that's coming. There'll be a little line of showers and thunderstorms out ahead of this. This may be when we have the greatest wind speeds, gusting to 50 miles per hour in some spots. Look at how widespread the rain is still at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. We get to 7 p.m. Still, I think one more blast will come after that tomorrow night, sending our temperatures much colder levels for the second half of the weekend. 61 tomorrow. Temperatures do begin to fall in the afternoon hours. The wind, as I mentioned, probably at its peak before noon. In the afternoon, it's still windy, just not quite as strong. Temperatures peak in the early part of the day, then they'll fall from 60 degrees. Just want to show you Sunday. The gray is cloud cover. No rain in the forecast Sunday or Monday. We'll need that break, obviously, because our rain chances return as we get to Tuesday and Wednesday. Rain chance comes back up. Temperature does as well. After that, signs finally that we get back to a little more consistent winter temperatures in the 30s. Toward the end of next week.
Took a while, right?
Yeah.
All right, thank you, Kevin, for that. And the legacy of Lauryn Hill lives on. The 19-year-old basketball player died nearly 5 years ago from a rare brain cancer. Now her hometown of Greendale, Indiana, continues to honor her legacy. This spring will mark the groundbreaking on Lauryn Hill Memorial Park. The 80-acre lot that used to be a landfill will soon be filled with a dog park, a mountain bike trail, and farther in the future, soccer fields and basketball courts. It's a spot that Lauryn's dad, Brent Hill, hopes will fill the small town with big city inspiration.
I think it's going to be a wonderful place for all those communities to come together and to interact and be together and talk, and maybe even talk about Lauryn a little bit and be inspired while they're here.
The nonprofit Friends of Lauryn Hill says they have collected about $50,000 of the $125,000 goal. But they say to them, the cost of carrying on the legacy and never give up spirit of Lauryn Hill is priceless.
Win or lose, at the end of the day, I'ma be cool. Pick and choose. I can stay on the streets, I can stay in the moon.
The Pacers will try to bounce back from that loss to the Heat on Wednesday, the one where T.J. Warren was ejected after taunting Heat star Jimmy Butler. The two had scuffled earlier in the game. Indiana is in Chicago tonight. The Pacers have won their last 6 games against the Bulls. Tip-off is at 8 o'clock. And later this month, on January 29th, Victor Oladipo is set to make his return against the Bulls at Bankers Life Fieldhouse.
And the number 6 ranked Butler Bulldogs with a stiff Big East test tonight. The Dogs are on the road against the Providence Friars, and while Providence isn't ranked, they have won 4 games in a row. Meanwhile, Butler has rattled off 5 straight victories, so tonight something's got to give. Butler and Providence tip off at 9 p.m.
Get ready, Indy foodies. The menus are now here for Devour Indy Winterfest.
At least 100 local restaurants are getting 3-course value price meals and menus prepared for the 2-week event, which kicks off January 20th. A lot of these restaurants are typically the kind you might treat yourself to only every once in a while, so the deals here are a good way to save some money and get out there and try some of what Indy has to offer out there.
I'm really bad about branching myself out to new places, so this always kind of intrigues me to go check out
somewhere else. Like, we've got the list here, and a couple of that I really like on here include Connor's Kitchen, which is on Maryland Street downtown. If you like wings, that's a good place to go.
I've done Devour at Luvino, and that's a fun spot
That's
too.
a fun spot as well. And Beholder is always a
it's
favorite
on my to-do list, so definitely let us know which ones you're going to be dining at.
Exactly. Reach out to us.
Well, still ahead, these cops are not actual officers, but they bring sweet surprises to those who protect and serve. A delicious serving of good news for your Friday. Next, when the news continues on RTV6.
And Keller, right now.
Hello to you. I'm Julie Grant with Court TV, and what a day it has been as we're covering 2 trials for you today. First, defendants Jessica and Daniel Groves have both taken the stand to testify in their own defense. This morning's testimony was emotional and at times fiery, and it comes on the heels of the couple's 15-year-old son testifying for the prosecution on Thursday. Today, Jessica Groves told the jury that the death of the couple's 2-month-old son Dylan was an accident that she caused, but she refused to answer particulars about how she caused his injuries. Both parents are charged with first-degree murder in baby Dylan's death. If convicted, they could spend the rest of their lives in prison. We are also monitoring the jury selection happening right now in the Harvey Weinstein rape trial in Manhattan. 108 prospective jurors are back in that courtroom after Thursday's session was cut short after the prosecutor had a medical issue. Weinstein is accused of multiple sex crimes involving 2 women. As always, you can count on Court TV for live gavel-to-gavel coverage of America's most compelling criminal trials. I'm Julie Grant. Now back to you in the studio.
Julie, thank you. Calling for an end to the city's violence through meditation and prayer.
Police chaplains and faith leaders from several denominations led the calls for peace today at an event called Prayer for Our City. This moment meant to be uplifting comes police in Indianapolis investigate the city's 9th suicide of 2020, only 10 days in.
Baked goods always make for a better day. The group COPS, which stands for Concerns of Police Survivors, made special deliveries throughout central Indiana to thank law enforcement. They stopped at the state police post in Indianapolis, as well as the Hancock County Sheriff's Office and police departments in Southport, Pendleton, Greenwood, Metro Police, and Madison County Sheriff's Office. This was the first year for the baked goods delivery. I'm sure that did lift up a lot of people.
Absolutely, and here's your clue. It's the next time you can catch Jeopardy! Greatest of All Time on RTV6.
What is this coming Tuesday?
That's right, Mark. This week we've been watching as the 3 top winning contestants of all time battled it out on these special 1-hour games of Jeopardy! The first to get to 3 wins $1 million.
Well, no one has gotten to 3 yet, so Jeopardy! The Greatest of All Time will continue this coming week at 8 p.m. Tuesday, only here on RTV6.
And all new at 6 p.m., a one-on-one conversation with IMPD's top cop. He discusses the latest homicide numbers and what needs to change in our city.
But first, on the Now Indy, there's a growing trend for smaller, more manageable housing. The rising market for starter homes. Next, you're watching RTV6.